From Studio 3 at Buzz TV, it's The Horse's Mouth with Tom McManus.
All right, time once again for The Horse's Mouth here at Tommy Max, of course. My favorite segment, or one of them each and every week, as we talk ball at Campo's Corner with Coach Dave Campo and a special guest, my good buddy and former teammate, Aaron Beasley. Top 25 Jag of all time. We're going to talk Jags right here at the bar. Coach, how are you, my man?
I'm great, and especially sitting next to Aaron.
What did I call you?
I was a corner.
You're the corner.
Yeah, exactly.
The corner. The only one that called 2 picks in a game and got it. Against Dan Marino, of all quarterbacks.
Hey.
He just woke up that morning. He's like, I'm getting 2 picks today.
I told you
Got
all
two picks.
morning.
I know.
All
you did.
morning. I said,
I
I'm
remember him
getting 2.
telling me, I'm like, okay, Beast, cool. Yeah, go get him. 2 picks. No problem.
Well, these are my guys here. You know what I mean? I was a DB coach for a lot of years, and they're my favorite guys.
Well,
no
last
matter
week
what.
against Minnesota, we got the picks, but we couldn't do anything with them. And lose a tough one, 12-7. Now 2-8. Going to Detroit.
Ooh.
Detroit's a tough team. Could be 2-9. Then the bye week. I mean, B's overall macro look like. What do you think the problem is? Why is this team 2-8? Now, granted, we know things happen during the season, regardless how you look on paper, right? But they definitely upgraded the roster. I thought from year one last year to this year. Camp was a good camp. Nobody thought this, but what do you think's going on? What do you think's happening?
Not making the plays when the plays are available.
Yeah.
You know, like when I watched the defense, the lack of turnovers.
Yep.
Like that was our main thing. Like we weren't the best stat-wise on defense, but somebody's going to make a play. Somebody's going to get the ball out. Somebody's going to get an interception. And that's one thing I see in the difference of us and them. Offensively, I would say it's just inconsistency from the quarterback. I mean, when we have other quarterbacks that can just dink and dunk and work the ball down the field, I don't see that with us. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like he tries to go for the big play and relies too much on his arm strength instead of relying on what's open.
Yeah. There's not a lot of pitch and catch, Coach.
Right.
You see, I mean, there's not. Now, here's the thing that's crazy. Like, Trevor will make phenomenal throws. And then the normal routine pitch and catch, sometimes he's on, sometimes he's off.
Yeah, it's definitely consistency. And that's, you look at the defense now has made the decision. We can't line up and pressure a lot of guys and play man coverage and do all the things. We're going to sit back and we're going to try to eliminate the big play and force the ball. Well, what did they do against us in the game? Even though it was smart, but the tight end caught. Everybody said, "Well, you can't stop the tight end." Well, that's what they wanted them to do. Throw it to the tight end. Let's get it going. But the biggest thing is that this team, in my opinion, is way too inconsistent all the way along. Look at it this way: they had 6 games of less than 5 points that they lost. Right.
Right.
You win 3 of those games.
Right.
3.
Right.
And you're 5-5, and you're tied with Denver for the 7th spot in the AFC playoffs.
Absolutely.
That's it's just this team does not. They don't know how to win, and they don't finish. That to me is one of the biggest things. Whenever I talk to anybody, any teams, that's one of the things. That you look at the championship teams, they know how to finish. That's one of the things, and it comes down to confidence. And you win the game. I don't care how you do it. You don't win it on that day.
Right.
You win it on what you do in preparation, the off
Isn't
season.
that the league, though? Because I know a lot of people like one-score games, but the league is comprised of the teams that win by 1 score.
That's correct.
Teams that lose by 1 score, and then the few teams that just get beat up every week. You know what I mean? There's not many, maybe 3 top. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So what makes that? And by the way, 1 score, that's 2 scores. Because that's the margin. You got to get back up there.
Making the plays when you're supposed to make them.
Right.
And it's not. Look, Trevor is, but the receivers drop the ball. They dropped them with Mac.
Yeah.
They ran the wrong routes with Mac.
Well, how about
it doesn't. Like I saw last week. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
Look, Trevor physically more tools than Mac Jones.
Right.
But what I saw out there, it's the same offense.
guy.
They didn't
There's no
do
difference.
much different.
No.
The offense didn't do much different.
No.
They got away from the run game. I don't know why they're doing that. That's one of their strengths.
But going what Bees said, Cisco's dropped 3 interceptions this year.
3.
He's supposed to be a playmaker. He's supposed to be the guy that can make those plays, but he's not making them. Evan Ingram. Everybody talks about the start of the game where they had first of all, they take a sack. The next drive, he drops a third down pass.
Big drop.
You know, and then all of a sudden you get a pass interception, and now all of a sudden you've got 3 and outs with a turnover. That's why you don't get it. You don't make a play. Somebody's got to make that play.
Momentum. And that's the most unseen, and you can't touch it. You don't know when it's going to happen, but it's part of every game. And it's funny because we had our high school game. We scored our first touchdown. We dropped the interception. And I'm like, yo, do you know how much momentum is important? How that changes the whole game. So now they build their confidence back. And that really is a part of every game. The mental is momentum.
Helping each other out. You know, the offense has got to help the defense out. If the defense goes 3 and out and gives you the ball, go do something with it. Don't go 3 and out and give me the ball back. And then on another thing, the defense has been giving up. Last week, they gave up 3 drives of like 15 plays or more. And almost every drive, like 2 out of the 3, the offense went 3 and out. You know how tired you are. You're so mad at the offense. You want to kill them all because you're like, come on, man. Just get a first down. Give me a little bit of a breather. They call it complementary football. They don't play that style.
And they haven't put it together, all 3 phases. And you got to win 2 of the 3, but they don't win 2 of the 3. They win special teams most of the time.
They do, yeah.
So all you got to do is win one or the other, and they're not doing either one of those when it really comes down to it.
What do you think? What do you think happens between now and the end of the year? I mean, do you think we're going to have a whole new, GM, head coach, staff? Do you think?
You mean after the year, or
what? I mean, if they go 2 and 9, now you got a bye week. I mean, do you make a change at the bye week? Maybe not with the GM, but the coach.
I don't
want anybody to get fired, man. You know how awful it is. It sucks. I've been cut before. It's not fun.
Here's what I think. Okay, there's going to be change. There has to be change at this point, especially when the owner came out and said, this is the best team we've had, whatever.
Forever.
Okay, but he's never done anything other than Urban, at least with 4 years.
Right.
So this next year will be 4 years with Doug.
Right.
So I don't see him going. That's just my opinion, because they're still getting the same number of people in the stands. Now, when the stands start going down, that's when the decision's made quickly.
I think the guys are fighting. I don't see quit. I really don't. I don't see that. I think they're fighting.
Let me just say one more thing about that. The last 2 weeks, I'm so frustrated. You don't get the all 22 on on NFL Plus Premium until 2 days after the game.
Right.
Well, I've zeroed into those. I'm so frustrated that I've zeroed into those things. This team is not quitting.
No,
they're playing
hard.
There's no question in my mind, and I can see that. I could see that watching it, and so it's not that.
I mean, it's a prime example. We went through a stretch like that where Mark was hurt, Beasley was hurt, and what was that, the 2000, after the 99 season, we lost like 6 games in a row, but we played hard. And like, we finally won that game. It was like the Super Bowl. We beat you guys.
Exactly. I know what you're talking. I know the game you're talking about.
We beat Dallas. And the thing is, we played hard because of a great leader. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like Doug is still a great leader. I just feel like some of the issues are not all his fault. And the guys on defense, they see it. The guys on offense, they see it. It's just we're not making the plays. And we're just playing hard, just not making our plays.
You watch this team, though, the past couple of years, you watched it. They'll get killed by Detroit, then they'll go on a run, and they'll finish like 8 and 9. You know what I mean? You just feel like, okay, now what do you do?
Well, that can happen.
Here's
the back end of this schedule.
It's set up for that.
If they get through this one, if somehow they get through this one, they might run the table. Who the heck knows?
Because this has been a question, I think, all season long between the fans and former players, right? Because a lot of times when players don't do well, I look at the player first. I just do. I mean, it's your job to know. You got to catch the ball. You got to run the right route. You got to make the tackle. You got to know who to block. You got to know who to throw to. You got to put it in the right spot. All that stuff. But there is an aspect of the coach should make sure you know, right? So where does it fall? We've got a head coach and a coach for so many years. Stand up. Like, where does it fall? Where do you think it falls? Try to be as unbiased as you can. I know you're going to say player, but
I'm always going to say the player because you make the decision to throw a ball, or you make the decision to guess on a wrong route, or because. We are fed all the information all week. there is not any coverage that we haven't seen. There's not any coverage the quarterback hasn't seen. He's watched film all week. He knows their tendencies.
Yep.
It is you that makes that split-second decision.
Right.
And the coach can only put you in the place to make the play.
Right.
To make the decision. When you make it and it's wrong, it's on you. To me, it's the players.
Well, and making the decision to prepare fully. So when you go into Sunday, like
you know exactly what they're doing.
You're ready to roll.
Oh, I know that split. I know what's coming. Because it's all about analytics. We were really doing it back then, but it's not as prevalent now.
Well,
but
it was here.
We were knowing percentages of they're in I formation.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody knows it has a
study
tendency.
tendencies like crazy.
And the thing is, every coordinator has an ego.
Yep.
My stuff better work.
That's right.
You better execute.
Right.
Coach, what do you say
Well,
to that?
I think it's a combination. I mean, I always feel like, that it's my job to prepare and it's their job to do it when we do it. And, to me, when you go as many, like we're 3 and 13, I think, in the last 13 games.
Right.
So when you get to that point, analytically, you have to look at the GM. Do you have the right players?
Right.
You have to look at the coaches.
Yep.
When you got guys, there was one game here where we blitzed the corner and the safety on the one side and nobody covered the wideout.
Yep.
Now, know the coaches are telling them to do that. So to me, are you preparing the guys correctly? And then, the third thing is you got to start looking at the quarterback because he's the number one guy, however you say it.
Yep.
I thought it was great. I said this once before. We had Warren Moon on one of the shows I was on.
Yep.
And Warren said, the quarterback position is the most important position in any sport.
Yep.
You can name any team sport for sure.
Sure.
But it's also the most reliant.
Yeah.
Right. In other words, the other guys have to do their job in order for you to be successful. Now, the really good ones, like Mahomes, for example, if he isn't doing his job, I'm going to run and I'm going to do the job for him.
Right.
So I'm making him better. But in reality, it's a combination in my mind. You go through a ball game and you make 3 mistakes, it can cost you the ball game. We used to talk about that on defense all the time.
Right.
Offense and defense are different. On offense, you can play great for, play bad for three-quarters of the game and make 3 plays and win. On defense, the other way around.
That's right.
You can play great for 3/4 of the game and make 3 bad plays and lose a football game. So it's a combination of everything.
Well, I know this. We'll wrap it up with this. It's only going to change if the locker room changes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to come down to the players to come together and make sure everybody's doing everything they have to do to be ready on Sunday.
The key word was Scott said, leadership.
Leadership, no doubt.
That's the biggest thing in football. You have to have great leaders.
All right, fellas. Thanks so much for being here. Always a pleasure. We love talking about our Jags, and I speak for all 3 of us, man. We want nothing more than them to win and bring this city a Super Bowl championship one day, and we hope they can get there. Until next time, stay safe, be cool out there, and we'll see you right here on the Horse's Mouth. Cheers.
Cheers.